So this week's episode, we had yet another pretty conflicted, crazy episode with a bunch of comic relief and slight character development as to our main character, Wataru. And pretty much overall, I like the way this is going. It's going in this direction where I think by the end, at least hopefully, they realize that they like each other and that, everybody gets kind of like some growth and development and friends are made. And that's what's going down. And at the same time, it almost, I know this is probably just my opinion, obviously, but it feels so real and like just just a vibe that you get. It's like, oh, this just kind of feels like real life. And this episode starts off with our two favorites, Kai and Aika, in the cafeteria talking about what happened yesterday, or last week's episode, where they went to the balcony where Wataru and his older sister were talking about the whole, distance thing and everything else. And pretty much overall, she kind of just doesn't know why she did it, but at the same time, we've got my personal favorite character, Kai, talking about how, everyone went to her house yesterday, the day, whatever day that was, and that what's wrong about it. And of course, Aika is just bitching about everything, about how her little sister warmed up to Sasuke and everyone else, but, at the same time, our favorite prankster, Kai, is like, she didn't warm up to a certain someone, huh? And that was Wataru, and obviously he didn't go. So she's just kind of prodding and poking because obviously the best friend knows what's up. But at the same time, she doesn't want to, get in the way or obstruct anything. And right after that, when she thought, apparently, she's like, when you thought of Sasuke, you also thought of Wataru, didn't you? But, she clearly denies all of that because that's just the kind of character she is, in denial and all that fun stuff. And so Kai makes like a resolution and goes, you feel like you're missing a piece, you know what I'm saying? Like a piece of your life that was important, even though you want to deny that it's important. And so maybe it is Aichi or Aika's turn to put some effort into this. And she comes up with that realization and talks about it. And of course, they're doing this over some it looks like smoothies or shakes or one of the two. And they look really good. It looks like Starbucks, whatever, some generic trash coffee place, but they look really good. And I'm probably just saying that because it's really hot outside. So we get to the next scene, which is Wataru and his sister. And of course, Wataru's hair is getting kind of iffy because he hasn't dyed it in a while because he has nobody to impress anymore. And so he's going to obviously pick up some dye eventually here, but he doesn't really give a shit at this point in time. And oh my goodness, this is a really great scene. So Wataru gets to class and he's like acting all polite and weird about it. And what was a person to do after that encounter the day before with her following him to the ceiling? And so of course, he pretty much makes Kai seem like the second tag along, Wayne as always with him, Garth. And so she kicks him in the shin and she's like, now fan me. And of course, he's freaking fanning her and making these dirty jokes. And he's fucking hilarious. I love their connection. I would much rather see Wataru end up with Kai than Aika, but that's just not going to happen. It's the second character curse. And it's not like they're really interested in each other, they're just friends, but I still feel like that would be a way better pairing. So we get to lunch, and Wataru's eating by himself, and he's eating these, like, protein bars on a pastry, and the bars are pretty much, they say, you could be satisfied with just having one. And, of course, he has two, so he's just so happy about the fact that he's going to be, quote-unquote, nutritionalized. But right as he's about to enjoy lunch sitting by himself, as he always does, he gets interrupted by the moral council prez, our favorite Rin, and Yu Yu's also there, and she wants him to come over as well. And so she drags him by the ear over there, and frickin' he gets there, and he's talking, and Yu seems to be getting along with him a lot more. Like, she's very open and very charismatic and not really hiding from him, as, you know, he's a man and she does not like men. But next to her is her friend and classmate, who for some reason, I can't remember the name of. I really don't think she's gonna be that important. But she acts like she very much hates men, so you can understand where Yu pretty much got it from. But Yu makes her smile and say hi, and, you know, it seems extremely forced and everything. And they leave after a little bit. Lunch is over, they leave, and everything's going on. And in this perspective, Rin's like, you know, Yu's my wife, and her friend that she's had forever that kind of watched over her is like her mother. And she thanks Wataru for the fact that he pretty much gave her the confidence to get over her fear of men. And not only that, he helped Rin solve her problems, because she didn't know what to do with the situation, and the fact that he told her to confront her and just kind of conversate it helped a lot. And he's almost like a philanthropist at this point. He just helps everybody but himself. And after that, we kind of find out that she knows his sister, obviously, because they're both in councils and everything, and they're the same class year. And so he's like, you know, yeah, it's my sister, I'm sorry for you. Right after that, we get to see Sasuke again, and he's like, his little sister Yuki's texting him like crazy, like, where are you at, what are you doing, who's around you, blah 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 blah. And it's absolutely hilarious, because what we're about to find out is like the fact that Sasuke is going to be going after our main interest, Aika. And so he's like, yeah, you know, I can't stop you, and that's not my choice, that's her choice. But just so you know, I'm gonna feel really bad and spiteful about it. And he's just like, why? And he's like, well, if you have your favorite pop idol and she's with some other dude, you know, that's kind of fucked, you know? So he just kind of lets it happen. He goes to the sidelines, and so Sasuke is over here talking to her, and he's just kind of going along with it. But he sees them out the window walking away, and by they, I mean Aika and Kai and Sasuke, and he's going to get ready to leave, and Aika comes up behind him and grabs him by the sleeve. And so he walks her back to the classroom, because apparently she forgot something, wink wink. And she asks him, you know, where he eats lunch and who he eats lunch with, and he tells her, you know, I eat it by myself usually, and usually kind of where I can find somewhere to sit. And she's like, why you eating alone? You can eat with everyone. And he's like, well, today, you know, I didn't really eat alone today. He was with Rin and Yu, and she's got this look on her face of just disappointment. And she asks what his relationship with them is. And it's like, oh my gosh, woman, just, if you're jealous and you like him, say something, okay? He can hang out with other people. Leave this poor guy alone. You've already toyed with his heartstrings for so many years. But after that, he's like, oh, there's no relationship, you know, just kind of like friends with my sister and everything. And he kind of thinks to himself, you know, with time, things are going to change, especially with the situation. And so she asks him kind of to join them at lunch, and he kind of dodges the question. And they go back to their lockers, and she notices that his hair looks like ass. And she comments the fact, and he's like, well, I'm going to fix it. And she goes pretty much like, you know, if you didn't have brown hair back then, I probably would have called out to you, which is kind of, you know. But so he asks her what color he should go with, like a brown or a black. And so she gets up to him kind of close and evaluates it and tells him she'd prefer like a black, dark brown black. So he gets his hair dyed, and he's doing it, but it's not all the way in. So his mean ass sister puts on rubber gloves and just rubs that crap in there. And if you've ever had your hair dyed, that is the absolute worst. I mean, it's not bleach level, but it sucks. And so he's really like reminiscing on the fact of like he gets his, like, I think it's a midterm, or was it the first try? One of them, it was finals, and he gets his scores, and he's talking about the fact that when you're a kid or something, like, you know, just a teenager growing up, you have something to look forward to in the fact that your test scores are going to be good. And he doesn't really have anything. And granted, he scored 65th place out of his whole class, which is pretty damn good. He scored 32nd in midterm, so he feels bad about it. And he realizes that, you know, without Aika there, he doesn't really have a goal to achieve, even though it's still a good score. And this is where things just get absolutely brilliant. So Kai scores 74th place, and she's just out of this world. And she tells him that, and he's like, well, of course, you showed me mine, so I don't have to show you your, or she showed me mine. You showed me yours, now I got to show you mine. So, she's like commenting on the fact that his went down a lot, and he's like, look who's talking, you got 76. And of course, she corrects him. She's like, 74th, actually. And like last time she got 220th place, so it's a huge leap forward. And so he comments on the fact that, oh, so you're an idiot. And she's like, past tense, all past tense. Like, she just accepts that but she did do good. And so, of course, we get our boy, right? The one that's kind of like the comic relief, Takuro. And he's just like, hey, what's up? I got 230th place. And he's just like, well, I'm glad you're happy about it. It's just absolutely hilarious. Minor comic relief, but it's enough to make your day. And then right after that, we get addressed by Sasuke, and he's like, being just kind of a ignorant douchebag. And so Wataru wants to get his score up, and that's his ultimate goal, is to kick his ass at it. And then he makes this nice pass at him and tells him, since he is in the soccer club, that he wishes all his passes end up as offside violations. It's just this nice passive, non-super aggressive taunt, and it makes the scene perfectly good. And right after that, right before the closing of this episode, we get Aika, and she notices the fact that Wataru dyed his hair and points it out, and it makes him feel really good about himself. And that's how this episode closes out. Overall, this was a pretty great episode. So far, I haven't really seen many things that make me want to just not like this show. I don't care what people say. I think it keeps you online and attention filled, and it's not necessarily one that makes you want to run to the freaking TV and watch it, but it keeps me very well entertained and not bored, and the episodes fly right by. It's got this charm to it, and I'm really drawn in, and I'm very excited to see where this keeps going. So with that all being said and out of the way, thanks for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, please leave a like, and if you're feeling real generous, hit that subscribe button. It means a lot to me. But yeah, that's pretty much been everything for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Squids, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.